All right, what's up, guys? VV back with another video. And in today's video, guys, we're going to be checking out Blackbeard. That's right. Yesterday, we went over Purple Luffy. It was the very first video in what will be a series going over the top 4 leaders in OP09 for us in the West, at least in my opinion, by my estimations and by what I've seen. So we're going to be going over the top 4 decks, which just so happens to be in no particular order, a red deck, a blue deck, a purple, and a black deck. So that's 4 out of the 6 colors for 4 videos. So after we do knock out these 4 leaders, it looks like people were pretty interested. We will then go over a yellow leader, which I'm going to choose an L. We'll see, maybe I'll add a game or 2 of Katakuri, but we're going to choose an L for the 5th one, and then it will be Jewelry Bonnie. Okay, so just to give a quick layout, of course, yesterday's video was Purple Luffy, today is Blackbeard, tomorrow will be Shanks, Red Shanks, and then the next day will be Blue Doffy, followed by Enel, and then Bonnie. Okay, so that's kind of the whole layout for the week for this channel, so you guys know what's coming, you guys know what to expect. And then it will probably be back to Red Yellow Sabo. For anyone who might be new to the channel, Red Yellow Sabo is my main on here, and that's we spent a lot of time trying to figure that deck out and make it competitive. So just kind of give you guys a quick layout for how the week's going to go. But today we got Blackbeard, guys, so we got to focus in, we got to lock in here and see how to play this leader. These videos are meant to be more, I think I'm calling them the competitor series, right? It's the competitor or the competitor series, however you want to say it, where I'm trying to show off some decks that are probably going to be the best decks in the format for OP09 for us in the West. Who knows? Other decks might pop up as well. Been seeing a lot of red, yellow, Bello Betty popping up. And again, you never know. There might be a good red, blue Marco deck going around, but I'm going to try and focus on the decks that I know are doing very well. So that way for any of the new players, or if you're just a competitive player and you want to know what to play, maybe these kind of videos will give you an idea and you can go from there. Okay? All right, so as usual, guys, I'll have everything time-stamped in the general description. We're going to dive into this. This will work as like a deep dive, a comprehensive guide on Blackbeard in today's video. Okay, and the Purple Luffy video we already did, I will link that in the comment section below if you haven't checked that out yet. Okay, all right, so let's hop into this. It's going to be the same format for all these videos where we go over the deck list first, then we hop over to the sim and check out 5 games on the sim. Okay, and then after that, we're going to go over and check out the deck list again, kind of summarize it, wrap it up. I'll give you guys my final thoughts. Okay? All right, guys, let's get into it. I'll have everything time-stamped, like I said, in the general description and any relevant deck lists and links down in the comment section below. And as usual, guys, I always have to say this. I always feel obligated to say this. If you ever have any comments, questions, or suggestions, please put them in the comment section below or hop on the Discord and hang out with us in there and talk in there to us. That's the fastest way to get a response. The link is in the channel description. Okay? All right, let's do this, guys. Let's go ahead and get into it. First things first, like I said, we are actually going to hop over to the deck list so we can kind of talk about it so you guys know what to expect. Because I don't know who's going to be watching this video if you're a Marshall D. Teach Blackbeard main, or if you're a new player coming into the game, or somewhere in between. So we're gonna go through this real quick. So understand right now, right up front, guys, for any of the newer players, Marshall D. Teach has this very first effect here. Read it over on the left, guys. Pause and read if you need to. Your on play abilities do not activate. So you don't get to use you do not get to use on play effects in this deck. And the big part about running this leader is you can activate main and trash a card from your hand, and now your opponent's on-play effects will not activate. That is a steep cost. You're trashing a card from your hand, but it's obviously very worth it. It's very powerful. Okay? So now that's what the leader does. So with that in mind, you're not going to see any on-play effects in this deck. So we're running 4 Laboons, and as we go through these, I am going to mention some replacements for the more expensive cards. I think there's only 2 cards that are expensive in here. I believe it might just be Laboon, honestly, guys. It might just be the Laboon. So real quick, I've seen quite a few different ideas for how to replace this card. At the time of me recording this, so let me read this real quick, guys. This is a 4-cost, 5,000 power character with a 1k counter, and it has activate main. You may rest this character and give up to one of your opponent's characters -4 cost for the turn. That's a fairly unique effect, but at the same time, how do I say this? It's pretty unique, but I don't think it is game breaking if we can't if you can't afford this, I think you can still make the deck work out pretty well without it. So let's go over some of the options, because at the time of me recording this, this card is going for about $25 to $30 a card USD, okay? So let's go ahead and go over some other options. The first one I want to mention is One-Legged Toy Soldier. That is a 2K counter. It's not as strong. Understand that. These are all the replacements we're talking about today, guys. They're technically not going to be as strong. They're just another option, okay, if that makes sense. So real quick, we have One-Legged Toy Soldier here. This is a 2K counter, which is kind of interesting because in the version we're going to be looking at today that I'm running, I'm only running Shiryu and Stronger. So that's 8 2K counters. So going up additional 2K counters, I don't think would be a bad thing. And on top of that, this is a 2-cost lower version of Laboon. Now, the nice thing about Laboon is you just activate main, rest the card by turning it sideways, and -4 to the cost. And now your opponent has to be able to take out Laboon next turn, or you get to use it again. And it's a 1K counter in hand. And worst case scenario, it's a 4-cost 5K attacker. With One-Legged Toy Soldier, it is 2 Dawn less, and it only does a -3 cost instead of -4. But that's not the worst thing in the world if you think about it, because it's still going to allow you to hit some very, very important targets in this format with your Doc Q. Doc Q is going to be the main combo card you're removing stuff with in this kind of deck. There are other options as well. Of course, you have events that can do it, and you might run Jack, you might run Kaido. I don't know what you're running, but there are other options as well. But the main card you're going to use for removal, especially early on, is your Doc Q. So being able to do -3 to the cost of a character, that's going to hit a lot of 4-cost characters. Well, that's actually extremely relevant, right? Because Blue Doffy is a very strong deck in the format currently, and there are a lot of very powerful 4-cost characters out there. So using One-Legged Toy Soldier is actually a very strong replacement if you don't have money for the Laboons. And who knows, some people might actually prefer running the One-Legged Toy Soldier, going up to 12 2K counters, and still having the utility of being able to drop the cost down of a character. And by the way, this also would allow you to hit a 6 with your Jack if you choose to run Jack. We'll talk about that in a minute. So Laboon, that's one replacement, is One-Legged Toy Soldier. There is another replacement I've seen people run that I actually like this one the most, guys. But who knows? Maybe run 2 of these and 2 One-Legged Toy Soldiers. But check this out, guys. This character's name is Hajradin. He is a 6-cost, 7,000 power, 1K counter. Activate main. You may rest one of your leaders and reduce the cost of up to 1 of your opponent's characters by 4 for the turn. So yes, you do lose a leader attack. Excuse me. But you're establishing a 6-cost body with a 7,000 power, a 6-cost 7,000 power body. Still has a 1K counter on it, and that activate main allows you to protect this character. One thing that a lot of people run into trouble with Laboon, it's not necessarily trouble or anything, but with Laboon, you play this out, you get to rest it to do -4 for the turn, and then you're probably going to lose it on the following turn because they might swing 7, 8, 9, 10 into it, or they'll bounce it back to your hand or something with a 4-cost law. There's so many more answers to a 4-cost 5K body as opposed to a 6-cost 7K body. And by the way, you have to rest this character in order to use the effect. Hajradin says, okay, I'll just give up my leader attack for the turn, which, that is asking a little bit, but at the same time, it might be worth it because you might be depriving them cards from hand instead of attacking their life, and then you're going to drop that down, -4 to this character, and then you can start popping characters with Doc Q. So, there's definitely a argument for this card. This is just barely a downgrade, in my opinion, over the Laboon. Okay, what else? Those were the 2 main ones that I wanted to talk about, was One-Legged Toy Soldier and Hajradin. If you know of any other good examples, by all means list it in the comment section below. One example of one that's not quite a good one, in my opinion, is Kuzan. Kuzan, unfortunately, has an on-play draw 1 card, so we're not going to get to draw a card. It is what it is. Hey, we don't make the rules, but at the same time, this is not at first glance, it seems like, oh, he has -4 by just attacking. It's like, yes, but you totally lose the on-play effect. He has no counter, and you have to attack just to get the effect off. So always look out for that, guys, when you are trying to make decisions for this deck, trying to take it to the next level and add your own tech choices to it. Now, moving over to the rest of the deck, I'm running 1 Kaido and 1 Jack. This is just my preference. You can run whatever you want in these 2 slots. You can go up more removal, like with another Liberation. There's actually quite a bit of different options you can run in this spot. Especially, let me just go to, let me just type in Blackbeard, or just, okay, Black brings it up. Some other options would be, hang on one second. I like this card quite a bit, and I was running these for a while, the Katarina Devon, and I basically replaced, I was running 4 of these Katarina cards, and I thought they were pretty good. They weren't insane, but they had a lot of utility. But I basically removed 4 of those from my initial basic version of the deck, and I went up 2 Vasco shots and then a Kaido and a Jack. I just wanted to have utility in other ways. However, for the most budget option, instead of running Kaido or Jack, I do think this card's actually very decent, especially if you're a newer player, you're trying to learn how the deck works. This is a searchable card. It has double attack, banish, or blocker. You get to choose for the turn. It's actually a very relevant card, and it has a 1k counter. It's hard to go wrong with this card. But I do think there are slightly better options out there with like Kaido and Jack and things like that. Okay, I'm running 4 Van Augur, running 4 of the Burgess, 4 Shiryu, 4 Stronger. These are 2k counters. By the way, real quick, Van Augur doesn't come up a lot for me, I've noticed, but maybe that's because I'm running the Laboons. So in just something to take into consideration, this card is very good. It's not a bad card at all, and it does activate main to -3 to the cost of a character for the turn, and it can replace itself with a draw card on KO, but I don't know what it is. I found myself not playing this card out a ton when I was playtesting it, but who knows? Maybe it depends on the matchups you're going against, right? Okay, let's keep going. Burgess, let me explain this real quick before we move on. This is an MVP in the deck. This character cannot be KO'd by your opponent's effects, and he's a 4-cost 5k with a 1k counter. And he has, if your leader has Blackbeard Pirates, of course ours does, this character gets plus 1,000 power for every 4 cards in your trash. Remember, guys, you're trashing cards with your leader effect, and then there's other cards, you're potentially trashing cards with Kaido or Jack, and then we haven't gotten to these cards yet, but you're trashing cards with your Shigan Finger Pistols, your This Is My Age, this trashes a lot of cards, your Stage is letting you trash cards, there are so many ways, and just countering out trashes cards too, right? So this card is an MVP in the deck, and make sure you pay close attention to this card. Next up, we have Doc Q. Doc Q is like the main removal engine in this deck. As crazy as that might sound, there are other options. I'm running Kaidos, I'm running Jacks, I'm running the Shigan Finger Pistols and Liberations. I think this card's actually called Black Hole, by the way. But whatever the case is, this card is excellent for removal because you can just play it out early, remove a blocker, and if they attack into it, we get to draw a card and we 8 attack. This is an MVP in the deck as well, believe it or not, guys. 2 Vasco shot. This is just a little utility blocker, nothing too crazy. Marshall D. Teach. This is, of course, the main card in the deck that the entire deck is built around, is this character and this leader combo, and it just shuts down so much. This is a must-have if you want to run this deck. Lafitte is the searcher. Now, Shigan Finger Pistol I'm running at 4 of and only 3 Black Hole, even though Black Hole is searchable. Shigan Finger Pistol hits 1 bigger. This hits a 5 cost, this hits a 4 cost. But the main thing is it also trashes 2 cards, and the trigger activates the main to do the same thing. So this card is incredible for what we're trying to do. Remember, we can't have any on-play KO bodies because we cannot activate on-play effects with our leader. This gets around that. It allows us to KO stuff. It's a trigger card to add to the deck. It adds to the dynamic. It adds more dynamics, more dimensions to the deck. So this card's incredible. This Is My Age, or I think it might be called This Is My Era. Very, very strong card at filling up your trash because you're going to trash this card to play it. So that's 1 card in the trash. Then you're going to do a top 3 search. You're going to grab one of the cards. So the other 3 or the other 2 plus the event, they're going in your trash. So very good at filling up your trash, finding the cards you need, Blackbeard Pirates, of course, and then the rest goes in your trash to fill it up for your Burgess. Liberation shuts down a character's effect and then KOs it 4 or less. The trigger can negate the effects of up to one of your opponent's leaders or characters during this turn. And then, of course, the stage I'm running as a 3 of. I've seen people run up to 4 of these. I've seen people run as low as 2 of these. I don't know the right answer on that. I like 3. Felt good. I felt like I saw it enough when I could search for it with Lafitte or with This Is My Age, and then this can search for the rest. And then vice versa. I can search for these with the stage as well. This can search. It's kind of a perfect triple. It's like a triad searcher package. It's a triple searcher package, and I think it's excellent. I think it's really, really strong, guys. But I will say this: these 2 are not negotiable in my opinion. I think you have to be running for This Is My Age and this is and Lafitte. But then the stage you could probably go down to 2 of, and then you'd have a 10-card package for your searcher package. I think that probably could work out, and then you'd have 1 free spot in the deck. Okay? All right, so that's the full deck breakdown. Let's get into these games, guys. Enough rambling. Let's see some action, right? I know everybody's getting tired of hearing me ramble. And if you guys have any questions about that, please do not hesitate to ask in the comments section below. Okay, all right, there we go. So first up, guys, we have a game. This one's more lighthearted, don't worry. Let me just tell you what games we're getting into. First game's going to be Blue Yellow Ace, then it's going to be Red Shanks, Blue Doffy, Purple Luffy, and Red Purple Luffy. So we do have some serious matchups coming up, but this first one's just going to be a fun one. Okay? Because I will say this, I want to try to include as many meta decks playing against them as possible so we can see how to play this leader into the other meta decks out there. But I think it's also important to show that this deck can also, you know, beat these rogue decks that you might randomly come across at a locals. Because you have no idea. You might go against a Shanks, you might go against a Doffy, you might go against a red-yellow Sabo. Yet you never know, right? You never know. So I think it is good to at least kind of show what else the deck can do. So now, let's get into this game. Volume is off. Speed is on 2x. And here we go, guys. We're good to go. So it looks like I'm going to be going first as Blackbeard. Going to play out the Lafitte here, and I'm going to pass the turn. Now, one thing I will say is this leader's probably pretty decent against Blue Yellow Ace because I can very, very easily shut down their on-play effects. And to put that in perspective, both of their 5-cost aces, the blue one and the yellow one that has rush, and the blocker one and the rush one, those are both on-play characters. So it really, really hampers what they're doing. So okay, we're fixing our hand a little bit with the stage. We're fixing with the searcher. Pause. So when you're playing this deck, guys, understand right away, you're kind of going through 3 phases, which is probably true of all decks. It's the early game phase, the mid game phase, and the late game phase. The early game phase for this deck is pure searcher, pure hand fixing, take hits if you need to. It is what it is, it's whatever. But search as much as you can and attack into the board as much as you can. It is the most important thing in my personal opinion, and that's what I try to focus on. So with that in mind, we're doing a lot of searching right now trying to fix our hand. Because for the middle of the game, we need to start getting a few bodies down. Some Burgesses, some Laboons, some Shiryus. Pop what we can, right? Or not Shiryus, I meant to say Doc Q. We're trying to fix our hand at first, then fill out the board a little bit, and then transition into the late game where we can just slam 10 cost after 10 cost after 10 cost. And that can really help us win games. Okay, so 3 into 1 here. We're going to let that go. We're not defending that. That would be crazy. And then they're going to, excuse me, it looks like they're going to play something out with their, actually, they're just going to swing in for 9. They play out the teach. And guys, I'm going to swing into the teach. I don't care about swinging into his life. Pause. Because first of all, I don't want him to go down to 2 life anyway, early on, because that's when he can turn on his 5-cost 7k rush ace and start swinging at face. Remember, that is an on-play effect that says, on play, if you have 2 or less life cards, this character gains rush. So we don't want to rush him down to that anyway. We're trying to get control of this game. If we can slow it down, then that's all the better for us. So it looks like we're going to do a this is my age. Probably going to grab the we already went over 1 10 cost. Guys, pause. There's a lot of searching in Blackbeard. Please pay attention to what you're throwing to the bottom of your deck or into your trash. So in other words, I threw a Marshall D Teach to the bottom when I did the stage, right? Let's do the stage first. Hang on, let me go back. Okay, so here's how this turn started. Okay, I'm going to trash a card. I have 3 Laboons. I'm going to trash that. Now, I'm going to grab the This Is My Age and put that Marshall D Teach. Notice I pushed it to the top. I know I have a Marshall D Teach at the bottom of my deck now, or second from the bottom of my deck. And then I just got a This Is My Age. Now, look what I see with This Is My Age. Whoa. Okay, there's another 10 cost teach. I have to grab this one, even though I would have much preferred grab Lafitte or Van Auger here to establish more board presence and do more things like that. However, 1 Marshall D teaches on the bottom of my deck, and now here's another one. If I remember, with this event, you're trashing the cards. So if I were to grab Lafitte or Van Auger here, this 10 cost goes to my trash. So I have the 1 in my hand, and then I don't know when I'm going to find the 4th one, if I even do for this game. So pay very close attention to that, guys, especially the newer players. Okay, so we grab the 10 cost here. We play out the Burgess. That's a 4-cost 6k. I did not use my leader effect because I'm not worried about him playing out the 5-cost. The 5-cost 7k rush Luffy. And if he wants to play out the blocker, that's fine as well. He actually does not even choose to do that. We got to pause for a second and talk about that. This guy's hand must be bricked unless he's just trying to get me down to low health as much as possible. But that's not the answer necessarily against Blackbeard. Because he's not establishing a board, I'm going to start establishing some very, very large characters, right? And I'm going to establish a board in the meantime. I've got a Burgess on the board now. I can play out another one, but who knows? He might have Gravity Blade Raging Tigers waiting for me. Okay. And I still have 3 life, right? So you can't really rush me down too crazy if I turn off the rush effects starting on this turn, by the way. Okay, we play out the dot Q. We're going to trash a card. Yeah, we'll trash the... I trashed a 2K counter. Let's talk about that for a second. We're going to be doing a lot of pausing in this game so we can get some things out of the way, guys, so we can get as much value out of this random blue-yellow ace game as possible. When it comes to what card you should trash with your leader, I have found it most useful, most versatile, to just trash a 2K counter, because not always, by the way, it depends on the situation, but early on, we have more 2K counters we're going to get to, and we actually want our opponent to attack into us so we can get life, so it can replace the card we had to trash for the turn for our leader's effect. It's kind of about maintaining an equilibrium of cards in your hand, cards on the board, and turning on your leader effect. Okay, so I'm trashing a 2K counter because I want the 2 10-cost Blackbeards. I want the Laboon potentially because I do have a removal card on the board. So we have to play very intelligently there. Okay, all right, so here we go. So we already did the leader effect. We're going to swing in for 7, and we swung in for 6, swing in for 7, and they're going to put a Luffy on top of their leader effect, cheat it into play. They're going to swing for 13 into 7. I'm just going to let it go. That basically saved me a life card. We're fine with that. And we're on 9 Dawn now. Looks like we're going to use the effect here, trashing Laboon to see what we can get. Nothing too crazy here, guys. Nothing too crazy. I might grab the stage and just do the stage again, because I feel like this was a waste of a turn otherwise. I'm going to trash Stronger, grab Lafitte, here we go. Now we're talking, use Lafitte, and then we'll grab another one, and now we're going to set those cards up, do it again, and now we're starting to just blitz through our deck. Do y'all see what's going on here, guys? Every turn I'm going through 13 cards at this point, 14 if you count the draw for the turn. Like, you have to start getting rid of these Lafittes, but the stage they can't get rid of typically. So that's what makes this deck so strong, is I'm going through like 10 cards a turn by using cards like this, the 1-cost Searcher, the 1-cost Stage, and the 1-cost Lafitte. Very, very important. Get through your entire deck, set the bottom cards as you go so you know what you're going to draw into at the end of the game. This is a very high skill level deck, guys, even though it might seem very basic. At least it can be. It depends on who's playing, right? So we swing in for 5. He's a 7,000 power leader. Whoopsies. Oh, well, no big deal. We did trash a card, so now when he goes to play out that ace, he will not get to draw 2 and put 2 back on the top or bottom, but he is going to get ghosts. Okay, 7 into 1. You can have the Lafitte. Very nice. And now it's our turn again. And there's the third Blackbeard. That's what we were looking for. Nullify that, and now we can actually start smashing in, right, guys? We'll use the stage here. I did trash one of the other teaches in order to do a top search. We get a 2K counter, and we're going to swing 9, 9, trash a card for the turn, and we are going to lock this game up. Actually, we did not trash a card for the turn. I forgot to do that. That was just a mistake. Now, he is going to red rock here to get rid of my character. 9 into 9. I'm going to very easily get out of that. And here we go. So, right here, a little bit of a mess up. Let me explain something real quick. I should have just played out the 10-cost Marshall D Teach, and then I can lock down his leader, for the rest of this turn. But I mean, that won't matter for him. But the main thing is I can negate a character's effect as well, right? So we can turn off the blocker on the ace, right? So let me bring that up real quick so people understand how the 10-cost 12K works. Let me move my head out of the way real quick. Don't worry, we'll go back to it in a minute. This is a 10-cost 12,000 power character with blocker. That's already good enough, right? But listen to this activate main, guys. Activate main once per turn if your leader's Blackbeard Pirates. And if this character was played this turn, it can only happen on the turn you play it. Up to one of your opponent's leader's effects are negated for the rest of the turn. Then up to one of your opponent's character's effects are negated until the end of your opponent's next turn. That character also cannot attack, okay, until the start of your next turn. So when you negate their effects, guys, blocker is an effect, right? Because what happens when you block? Let's see if there's a blocker in here I can mouse over. Okay, what does blocker do? It says after your opponent declares an attack, you may rest this card to make it the new target of the attack. So again, someone correct me if I'm wrong on that, but I'm like 99% sure that's how that works. But I did mess that up, just kind of giving a heads up. Yeah, hang on one second. Let me go full screen, go back to here. But yeah, if you turn off their effects for the turn, they can't activate their blocker. Okay, so really good stuff there. That's what I should have done, was played down the Marshall D Teach, locked, use his effect on the leader and the 5-cost blocker ace, swing for 5 with my leader, and then swing 9, swing 9. There's no way he's getting out of that with what he has in hand. Okay? In fact, it probably didn't matter either way, right? Because it's going to be swing 9. He has to counter out with a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 1K counters. Swing for 9 more. He has to use the blocker and then swing 15 with leader. There was pretty much no way for me to lose that game, but I do think the more technically correct play was what I was saying, to just turn off the blocker. Okay, next game. I know that was long-winded, but don't worry, guys. We'll start moving a little quicker now. We got a game versus Shanks now. We have a more relevant matchup here for the meta. We're going to go speed 2x. The volume's already off, and here we go. Let me adjust the camera while we're waiting for this game to start. There we go. So Shanks. Shanks versus Blackbeard. We got an epic showdown here. Very cool matchup here. So we both start off with a searcher. Mine is a little more relevant because I can do some stuff with it, right? I can actually keep it going. Let's see what we do. We're going to play out Lafitte. Looks like we might get the stage here. Very nice. But do we want to use the stage yet, or do we want to play out the Dock Q? So hear me out. I think playing out the stage is what I'm going to do, because I don't care if he swings into my Uda. I don't care. So here we go. Let's see what he chooses to do. I'm swinging in for 6. He's going to -1 and then do that. So that's another reason why I did choose to swing for... So the other option here was to play out the Dock Q and just get rid of the Uda. But is Uda really a threat, and then I lose my removal? Because then he could just attack into a next turn. It saves me 1 attack, but is that actually relevant? Sometimes yes, sometimes no. It depends. But in this situation here, if I had played out the Dock Q after using the Lafitte search, then I don't get to swing for 6 with my leader, which ends up being 5 after the leader effect and getting a card out of his hand or out of his life. Yes, there's another option where I just don't use the Lafitte effect. I just keep the Lafitte active and then play out the Dock Q, popping the Uda, swing for 6 with my leader, and not establish the stage. There were a lot of lines of play there, but I like this one best because I'd rather save my Dock Q for getting rid of something that's more relevant. You know, something bigger like a Lucky Roo, or maybe even potentially like a Ben Beckman or something later in the game. You never know. If we can get that much cost reduction, right? Okay, so here we go. We're going to use the stage right away. I trash Van Augur and I grab a Burgess. Burgess is very, very strong in this matchup, but I will say this, playing him out early is a little bit dangerous. Playing him out early is dangerous because Beckman can trash him, not KO him. So you want to do it later when his power's higher, so it's harder for him to get trashed. Okay, so there is a Marshall D Teach. We searched that up with the Lafitte here. We're going to probably trash a 2K counter. We have a lot of 2K counters in hand. We grab a stage. I'm going to probably play out the this guy here, play out the stage again, and do some more searching. I'm trying to get everything I need this game. I'm trying to go through my deck as fast as possible. I'm not going to use the leader effect until 7 Dawn. They can have the Yasop power. That's fine with me. They used it to KO my Lafitte. I don't even care. Okay, so here we go. We do have a Laboon, which will be the perfect follow-up here to get rid of this Yasop, tapping the Dock Q, get rid of that card, and now we can trash a 2K counter. We get another 2K counter. I'm looking for my Marshall D Teaches and my Burgesses. Those are the cards, the main cards I'm looking for. Slamming in for 8. He's going to use his leader effect because he was at 6, and he's going to get out with a 2K. Okay, we've gotten some pretty good cards out of his hand. He can have that. I get to draw a card from it. There's a Ben Beckman. That's actually a good sign for us because now we know that's out of the way. We don't have to worry about that, or at least one of them. And now our Burgess will be a little safer. We're going to trash Dock Q here to do a This Is My Era. We're going to use This Is My Era. Probably going to grab a either a 2K or a blocker. Here's what I would recommend. Yeah, we get the blocker. Very nice. We'll play out Dock Q. Or excuse me, Dock Q. We'll play out Burgess. Play out Burgess. We're going to trash this and pass turn. He could use his leader effect to just turn off my leader attack. Okay, so there we go. And now, guys, now it's my board is looking pretty intimidating. Those are 8,000 power characters. Burgess can only hit a 6, so he would have to double it in order to get some effect. Whoa, okay, he's going super aggressive here. Let me finish my thought. In order for him to get rid of my Burgess now, he would have to combo it with an Otama. Guess what? I turned off his on-play effects. He can't hit me with Rayleigh. He can't Otama plus Ben Beckman. He can't do any of that. So, there we go. And I will say this. I probably should have done it a turn earlier so that he couldn't even use his Ben Beckman. But that was a little bit of a play mistake because I even mentioned it while I was talking about it, I think. Or before it happened. Okay, so swing for 5 here. We'll give him a 1K counter. And here we go, guys. Right here. So we do a little bit of a mess up again. I need to be playing out, especially against Shanks. Pause. Play out the Blackbeard first so the leader cannot do their effect. That's the main idea, right? So get as much value as we can. But that's okay. It looks like we're going to trash a card from hand here. Probably the Liberation is what I'd say. Yep. And go ahead and grab another card. I like the Lafitte. Very good. Here we go, 9 into 5. So again, why am I doing this? Why didn't I play out the 10 cost dude? I have no idea. But hey, it does get a card out of hand, and it gets the leader effect out of the way. And here we go. Swing 5 into face. But like, oh no, he sells the Ben Beckman, right? Well, doesn't really matter. We're going to use this. We're going to lock this down. Now his Ben Beckman cannot attack. We will be trashing a card from our hand, a 1K counter. And now he cannot use any on-play effects. So we're in very, very good position this game now. Oh, wow. Okay, he's loading up 15 going into there. I'm going to let it go. I don't care. I have more and more of these cards. So this time we're going to do it in the correct order to turn off the leader effect, swing in for 5, and it's going to be swing in for 9, and probably swing in. I would swing in for 9, swing in for 12, but I might forget to do that, or I might choose not to do that. Okay, so we get Doc Q. We're going to trash the Doc Q now to turn off the leader effect, and yep, smash in for 9, or 10. I guess he's 10 now. Very nice. Honestly, guys, I think, okay, I choose not to. I guess we're just trying to starve him a little bit, get triple Marshall D. Teach on the board. And he's loading up. He's going to swing at face. Now, I do like this. We will take that. We do take those. And here we go. Use this effect here. We're going to play out the teach. Lock these down. Swing 5. Right here, I should just swing with everything. If I don't, it's a mistake. I don't know what I'm waiting on, to be honest with you. Okay. All right, so it should be swing 10, swing 12, and swing 12. Because remember, he cannot attack with these other cards here. And yeah, now we're setting up lethal for next turn. We'll grab a... I trashed a 1K counter for a 1K... I was looking for a 2K counter. Because later in the game, that's when you want to grab your 2K counters. That's when you want to protect yourself, protect your board. What's he going to do here? Okay, 15 at face. Okay, is he trying to set up for a Goldie Roger? He just leaves. I don't understand the logic there. So I was just going to take that hit, and then we just go in for a lot of damage next turn. It would be like 12. I think I was going to swing for like 7 and then 13, 13, 13, 13 or something ridiculous like that where you just can't get out of it. You know, it's too much. Now, he did have a 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11. So it'd be about 11, right? 11 or 12K he could get out of. But, you know, well, excuse me, he'd have 12K to get out of attacks. But that's only going to get him out of my 7K. And then like 112K, or excuse me, it's going to be a 13K, right? So a 7K to 13K is getting out of, but then I have 3 other 13s or more coming in. So maybe I should have done like a 9, I don't know. Whatever the math is, he was in trouble. There was no getting out of it. We were in good shape there. Good stuff. That was a fun one. Very good game. Tough matchup, by the way, guys. Shanks is a very tough matchup. So here we go. Speed 2X. And their hand was a little bricked up. I will give credit where it's due. They didn't draw into their top end. But here we go. We got a game against Doffy. This is also a pretty tough matchup. But if they go aggressive enough, let me say that right now. If Blue Doffy goes aggressive enough, that's where they start getting themselves in trouble. I don't think they should get too aggressive. Like, take me down to maybe 3 life and then sit me there for a little bit and then start putting some characters on the board and make me waste all my cards from my hand, you know, to turn off on-play effects. Okay, we get rid of the Perona. We have Lafitte on the board. We're going to do Black Hole on turn 2. Guys, turn 2 Black Hole already. Some people might think against that, but hey, it's pretty relevant. 8 into there. I'm going to draw a card from that. Thank you very much. And now we are actually going to coast into the late game, right? Like we've already slowed them down enough where we can start coasting into the late game. Okay, and we get to take these value attacks 5 to 5. Hey, you want to counter out and give me cards from your hand? Sure, we'll take that every time because I'm at 5 life. Keep attacking into me, right? Keep attacking in. So we're going to play out, we did some type of search there. I missed it, whatever it was. Oh, Shigan Finger Pistol, get rid of the Jinbei, trash a card from hand. No leader effect from you, bud, at all. No leader effects from you this game. Now, Marshall D. Teach, the 2 cost, is the blue 2 cost for Doffy is actually very relevant. So they're going to use their effect here, swing for 10. We're going to gladly take this. They do not get to draw a card from Weevil. We get a trigger to draw top 3 search. Okay, we're starting to get a lot of Burgesses here. Okay, and this is why I do think... So some Blue Doffy decks are not running Gravity Blade Raging Tiger. I think it's pretty important too. That's just me personally. We'll swing in for 7. Let's see if he saves it. If he does, it doesn't matter to me. Sure, 2 1Ks, perfect. Okay, we're going to play out a Burgess. We're going to trash a card from hand. I do like trashing the Laboon here because all of my event removal can already hit the 4-cost characters. We're fine. There's a Gravity Blade Raging Tiger. Very nice, but he pulled the trigger 1 turn too early on that, didn't he? Okay, so here we go. He's going to slam in for 6. We will take, or actually we'll 2 out of this and take the 7. Okay, it's another one of these guys. Seems good. And now we can kind of just clean up this board, and he is in top deck mode for the rest of the game. 6 into there. This is why I will say this. I don't really mind the Marshall D Teach, personally, the 2-cost Marshall D Teach. But I guess it depends on your matchup, right? Because I just don't care. I don't care that he's going to be playing that card out. Okay, we'll trash that. So now Black Hole's on, so they can't get any on-play effects. But yeah, what I was saying there was with Marshall D Teach, if they keep loading cards from their hand to the top of their deck to cheat them out sideways, beautiful. I get to attack into that character now. I get to attack straight into a new character. We take it every time. That's why they have no cards in hand. It's not like they're playing poorly. They're not getting any on play. They've gone through 2 Weevils that didn't draw them cards. And they're trying to cheat cards into play with Marshall D Teach. So it's a fine line, right? It's a balance you have to work out. So the Doffy player's thinking pretty long and hard right now. They're deep in the tank. What are they going to do here? My answer is I have no idea. I don't know how they're supposed to get out of this at this point. Okay, so here we go. Let's see if they choose to swing in with the Edward Weevil, because we will gladly take some cards from our life. Because once we start chaining these Marshall D Teaches together, that's when things get out of control. That's when things get out of hand. It's not game over necessarily. You know, there are unblockable cards and stuff. Whoa, swinging in for 6. Okay, might counter out of this one. Nope, we're going to take it. And he's got 4 Dawn left, so he's obviously going to play something from his hand. But here's the thing. I'm just going to eat this board up, right? We're going to eat up as much as we can. We'll swing 9 into the 6K blocker. We'll swing 5 into the 3K body. He has no cards in hand. He can't defend anything. And now at this point here, we are just going to lock it down with the first Marshall D Teach. Boom, boom, nullify those. Still trashing card from hand. We're saying you're not getting an on-play effect, bud. Hey, bud, you're not getting any on-play effects. I don't know what they told you, but you're not getting any of them. You're going to have to just get vanilla cards to your hand for the rest of the game. Okay, so let's see what they do here. So, and this is what I was saying, guys. If you're a blue Doffy player and you're struggling in a Blackbeard, yes, they can remove your characters on the board. The Blackbeard can. However, just go 5 wide before you start attacking. You don't have to cheat cards out either. I mean, you can. Oh, Jozu, so that was a whiff. We do take those. Swings 9 into 9. We'll just 1K just in case he tries to load up the rest on the Weevil. Okay, and I think he does. We'll go 11 into it. Well, now we get a free block with the 12K blocker. Seems good. And now we have something to attack into. And we're going to lock down the other Edward Weevil with the other, what's his name? The other Marshall D Teach. This is where things start getting very ugly for my opponent, right? This is the situation that happens where it's like, okay, what are you going to do now? You know, you start loading up those Burgesses in the mid-game and then start locking them down with Marshall D Teach. I said, hey, I'm going to let you have it on play this turn because I kept the 2K counter in my hand. Hey, you're going to get to use your on play this turn. I know, very generous of me. You're going to get to use your on play. But the correct play here is to load 10 on your leader and go 15 into my Marshall D Teach. That's pretty much the only correct play here. Or at least 15 into the Burgess. Because if you don't, I can get out of it with the 2K counter. And if if they do, they don't get to use the on-play effect. So this was kind of one of those checkmate situations. It's like, hey, I'm giving you the opportunity to get rid of my Marshall D Teach, but you're going to have to do it by using all of your Dawn of the turn, so you don't get any on-play effect. Or you can use all your Dawn this turn to start cheating out some bodies if you have like a Jinbei or something in your hand, but then I'm just going to run you over next turn. Right, so it is a very tough situation to be in for them. And they just leave. So it was that tough of a situation, apparently. So looking at their hand here, oh, they made a mistake. They attached 4 Dawn to a character that could not attack. Guys, remember, the turn that the 10-cost Blackbeard comes into play, Marshall D Teach, he locks down a character that character cannot attack. Okay? Their effects are turned off, and they cannot attack until the start of your next turn, basically. Right? So like, you have to be very careful when that situation happens. Now, they could have played out the correct play here, looking at what they have in their hand, would have been to play out the Sengoku first, and then probably Jozu to bounce my Burgess back to hand. Because remember, I let them have on plays this turn. But they could have played out the Sengoku, play out the Jozu to bounce the Sengoku back to hand, and bounce my 4-cost guy back to hand. My what's his name? Can't remember his name now. The Burgess. I can barely read the font from here. Sorry, guys, because of the you know how small the screen is. But that would have been the best play. That would have been a 7 Dawn play, and you get to follow up with another Sengoku. You could follow up with another Sengoku, and now I only have. Well, see, that's where it gets crazy, right? Because look how the turn's going to go. next turn, if I wanted to, they only have 4 cards in hand. So if they play out the Jozu and return the Sengoku, well, I know what they have in their hand, right? I know what they're going to have from Sengoku. They're going to reveal it, and I know the Sengoku. So from there, I can do the math, and it's like, okay, swing 12, swing 13, swing 14. That will probably be enough most times, and they have a 1K. Oh no, they have 3 life though. Excuse me, they do have 3 life, so that probably would have been the better play. But the writing was on the wall for sure. I don't have to attack at all this turn if I don't want to with my blockers. I can just load up. And by the way, next card I was drawing was a Shigan Finger Pistol, so I can pop one of their characters, knock them down to 1 life, and go about things that way. So and then trash the last card from my hand, and now they're just going to be sitting on no on play effects. So they were in trouble. Let's just call it what it is. Good stuff, though. That was a fun game. Blue Doffy, very tough. All right, we got 2 more games. We got a game versus Purple Luffy. Purple Luffy. Okay. So, this matchup is very... Purple Luffy is actually very strong. Let me say that. And I think they're actually pretty decent into Blackbeard. But losing out on the on-play effects from like the 7-cost Luffy and even the, even the 9-cost Lin, that does really kind of slow their game plan down. However, if you're smart playing Luffy, what you'll do is you will go as wide as possible before throwing your board at me, because I'm just going to eat the board up, obviously. And I still have events that can remove bodies even if you don't swing. It is tough, but you just have to go as wide as possible. They're going to go in for 5. They're going to play out the 7-cost Luffy. Again, that card's not so scary when it's a 7-cost 8K vanilla. It's not so scary anymore. We'll swing for 5. They're down to 3 life. We're going to play out the Van Augur. We're going to play out the Doc Q. We're going to trash a Laboon and say go. We're going to pass. Now, I guess there was, pause. I should have played out that I got greedy. I should have played out the Laboon instead of the Van Augur. I still think trashing the other Laboon probably would have been fine, but my thought process was I'll try to go a little bit bigger, because Laboon's a 4-cost 5K, this is a 5-cost 6K, but being able to hit a larger target like a 4-cost, that would have allowed me to play out the Jack next turn and just rip this 7-cost Luffy. No questions asked, the card's gone. So that was definitely a play mistake. Okay, so here we go. They swing in, we're going to take it. They're going to play out the 9-cost Luffy with absolutely no effect. Seems good. We'll take it. And here we go. We'll play out Lafitte. And let's see what we get here. Probably just get like a little blocker or something, I would imagine. Or Burgess. Burgess or the blocker, I think, was the right call. We go with the blocker. I do like that. And here we go. Going to play out the Laboon. We're going to go -3. We're going to go -4, -3, pop it with Doc Q. We'll swing in for 5. We'll play out the stage. We'll play out the Vasco shot. And then we will actually just, going to trash the Jack here, because I want to start chaining my 10-cost characters together and then play out the Vasco shot. Filling up our trash as well. Our Burgess will start getting really big from that. I trash a 2K counter so he can't use any kind of on-play effect. 10 into 5, you can have it. It's all yours. And 8 into 6. Now, that will draw us a card from the on-KO effect. We do take those. Plays out a Luffy Taro. But right here, now it's time, guys, to just, start. It's time to start turtling, basically. We're going to swing for 5. They take it. They're down to 2. We're going to play out a 10-cost 12K Marshall D. Teach, locking down the biggest character and the leader effect there. Use that. We're going to trash a card with our leader. Probably the Shigan Finger Pistol. Or actually a 2K. Okay. I kind of like the Shigan Finger Pistol there instead, but who knows, that might come in handy later. Okay, coming in for 7. I think we are going to block this because we do have Vasco shot. Okay, we'll take that though. I'm trying to save the Vasco shots to protect my Marshall D. Teaches from their free effect every turn. Their free block every turn. Okay, very smart. So the Purple Luffy player is using their turn wisely to fill the board. Fill the board out as much as you can. That's the best way to beat Marshall D. Teach. You might not beat him, but that's the best way to do it. Okay, so they aggressively counter out there, guys. Very, very aggressively counter out. We're going to play out another Marshall D. Teach. We're going to lock down the same stuff, and we're going to probably trash a card from hand and try to get some more answers. We'll trash the Shigan Finger Pistol. We get a Burgess. I'm just trying to get counter power at this point, because next turn I'm probably going to have to go for lethal, more than likely. We'll see what happens. So, first of all, I do have 2 blockers to stop 2 attacks. Okay, so they're going to go in for 8, and then they can go for 9, 9, 9. So right here, they can go for 8, 9, 9, 9. That's what's going through my head right now. So I have to do a little bit of math here. It's like, okay, I could go 2-1-1 to get out of this, but that will tell them too much. So we'll just take this. We'll see what happens. They'll swing for 9. Block. 9. We'll block. Yeah, we'll block. I was counting my counter down there. So we'll go 10. It was exactly calculated. That was me baiting him into attacking. And now we are all in, guys. So it's going to be swing 9, swing 12, or swing 13. There's no way out of it. Whatever numbers it ends up being, 17 at the end, there's no way out of it. GG. So we did bait him into attacking at the very end. I don't know if that was the right call on his part to go all in, but he might not have had any other choice. He may not have had another choice. So, good game. Purple Luffy, very tough. Okay, last but not least, we have a game of Red Purple Luffy. This is another leader on the rise, guys. I would say there's like 2, maybe 3 leaders to look out for in OP09 in the West. Red Yellow Bello Betty, Red Purple Luffy, and probably Enel or Bonnie. One of those two. I think they're kind of... I'm not saying they're the best decks out there, but I think Enel is actually pretty solid, and it's been kind of flying under the radar. People are kind of burned out on Enel, I guess. Okay, so we swing in, or excuse me, we use Lafitte to do a search there. We play out the other one. We're going to swing for 6. I probably should have swung first, whatever. And here we go. Going for Lafitte would be the right call here. Let's see if they choose to do that, unless they have removal. Who knows? They might be running, they might be teching in cards like Nika Robin or something. You never know. They're going to play out a Zoro. That card needs to go. Let's do a top search. I really don't want that card on the board. And if we can get like a Liberation... Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Gorgeous. All right, we'll take it every time. But we can't swing, unfortunately. Right here, he is going to be on 6 Dawn, I think. I probably should have started using my leader effect there. That was a little bit greedy. But hey, it is what it is. He did ramp a Dawn. But again, it happens. So right here, we're going to swing him for 7 into 6. He has 4 cards in hand and 3 life. I think he should take this. It just makes sense, logically. And then we're going to play out the Van Augur, and now we're turning off his effects. Okay, you got one. You pulled one off on me because he should be at 9 Dawn this turn after everything, right? I think something like that because he was at 6, jumped up to 7, 9, 10. Yeah, so he should have been at 6, go to 8, go to 9. But it's okay. I don't think it's a huge deal, but it's still something to be weary of, be cautious of in the future. They're going to swing for 5. There is no Dawn to ramp here. They shouldn't have used their leader effect, so they could ramp that Dawn in that way, and then they could have it afterwards if they needed it, but I don't think it matters either way. So they swing in there. We 2K counter out of one of those. We're going to go into the Zoro here, obviously. No reason to keep that on the board. Right here, I think we're going to be able to do a Kaido plus Van Augur to get rid of a Newgate. Seems good. This card has a lot of potential, guys. Yeah, I think we should trash the Vasco shot, get rid of that, and then we're going to have to trash a 2K counter. I'm not sure what just happened. They trashed a card there. Something happened. Oh, they had a trash card from the Kaido's effect, obviously. Then we trashed a 2K counter, turn off their effects, and now we have a pretty big body on the board. They're going to swing for 7, and we will gladly take this. See, this is the point where I will say, I understand, in the game of One Piece, you're always on a clock, right? You're always on a clock. But in this situation, I would consider not swinging with Red Purple Luffy, because you're giving me more cards. You're giving me more cards to trash from my hand and turn off your leader effect continuously every turn. Okay. So they do have another attack here. Yep, swing for 9. Beautiful. Like, why not go for the Van Augur? I mean, I guess, yeah, it does give me a card, but now I have another attack. And now he's probably going to slam down a 9 cost. He left 9 Dawn open exactly, maybe an 8 cost, and leave one for an event. Nope. Okay, well, guess what's about to happen? We'll go 5 into there. And now we're going to go 6 into leader and then 9 into lead. This is brutal at this point, guys. It's like, so because you chose not to get rid of this Van Augur, which was a little bit greedy, now he's going to beat you up every single turn. He's going to keep beating you up. When you were scared to give me a card to draw, you did anyway, attacking into my life. And that's one thing I have to say, guys. Be very careful against Blackbeard. I don't think the worst idea in the world is to starve him. 15 into 9. Sure, I get another turn. Seems good because it's going to be teach into teach into teach into teach. Yeah, it's just never going to stop. It's just over at this point. So there's a card out of hand every time. Swing for 12. That's going through, and now it's going to be, you guessed it, another one. Lockdown. What are they supposed to do? Trash a 2K counter from hand or a searcher. That's perfect at this point because I have 3 teaches I can just chain together. That's it, man. That's it. There's nothing they can really do at this point. 6 into 5. We're going to block it for free. Play out 2 queens. Sure. We'll swing in for 12. Actually, we'll swing for 6 first. Like I said, this card is just brutalizing him. We'll swing for 12. Okay. We'll swing for 12, and then we'll swing for 15. So, I mean, or I could have done the same thing I was saying before, just turn off the blocker and smash in that way. GG. That was a good game. Very good stuff. All right, well, that's it, guys. Let's go ahead and head over to the deck list, and we'll wrap this video up. It's starting to run long anyways. I was hoping this competitive series, or the competitor series, would be a little bit shorter, around the 45-minute mark, but we'll do 45 to 55-minute mark is the goal. That's what we're aiming for. So this is it. This is it, guys. This is the list. It has lots and lots of removal, lots of control. If you're more of the control style player and you like to set cards in your deck with all these searches, like with the stage, with Lafitte, now this goes into your trash, but still, that's a lot of searching and setting you're doing with your stage every turn and the Lafitte. But it's a very strong deck, and I think it's it's pretty good budget other than this card. So if you replace this with like 2 more, the cards I was saying, the 2-cost toy soldier, 1-legged toy soldier, it's just, you get 2 more 2K counters as well. And then on top of that, maybe run 2 of these Hajradin. I think you'll be fine. I honestly think you'll be fine. Now, it would be nice if we had a cheaper version of what we're trying to do with the cost reduction, but we just simply don't yet. We just simply don't. So we'll have to wait patiently for that. Well, that's it, guys. Hope y'all enjoyed. Please do not forget to like and subscribe if you've not already. Big shout out to everybody who supports the channel, whether you're liking, subscribing, sharing, commenting, viewing, anything like that. Really, really appreciate it. Thank you so much. And big shout out to all the VV Pirates playmat supporters over here. Hope you guys are enjoying your playmat. And then also to the patrons. I got to add one more name. One more person has recently joined the patron page. I will update that as soon as this video is over. So big shout out to everybody who's supporting me on the patron page. Thank you guys so much. Keeping the dream alive. Just trying to help me. Literally just trying to help me out at this point. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. All right, guys, that's it. Hope y'all enjoyed. Please do not forget to like and subscribe. And until next time, guys, peace.